Well, good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to season 11, the recap for week one. I got to be honest, this has been kind of an odd season. I guess they're all a little bit different, right? I know for me personally, sometimes I will be totally prepared. I will have done all my research and have my cheat sheets and guys that I'm looking for and shooting for in later rounds. Frankly, some years I do no research and just print off the cheat sheets. Sometimes I don't even do that. Every year is just a little bit different because of when we draft and, well, I guess what happens in the weeks leading up to the draft. And this year was just crazy. So much activity in August. I kind of kept forgetting that the season was coming up. I don't know why I kept putting it off further than it was. So that also meant I totally forgot about posting on the main page. And have you guys, is anybody using the actual website instead of just the app? Because it is totally different. It's got all kinds of crazy things. It looks totally different, so having kind of a hard time remembering where everything is. The homepage is a little bit different. The video is still on there, but I'll make sure to send a link in our WhatsApp channel there. That message string board. It's not a board. That group chat. Whatever it is, I'll send a link there too. Interesting things as we think about this past week. As always, first weekend, got some crazy things going on. Guys who you never would have projected scoring multiple touchdowns. Guys you expected to score multiple touchdowns did, and then the guys you kind of hoped were going to show up or expected to really didn't. But with only 8 teams, we should have some high scores each week. In fact, we should never see anybody under 100. Oh, sorry, John. Moving on, have you seen some of the cool graphs and charts on the new main page or home page there for ESPN Fantasy? For some reason, it projected me as the number 1 team. I have no idea what those numbers mean, but somehow I got the number 1, and it's kind of neat to see how it shows you on draft day what you were projected, where you were projected to end final standing, and then how you move up and down throughout each week. So that's kind of neat. Check that out if you haven't. Big shout out to GPAC. Your bench outscored your lineup, but also outscored every other team but one. So it was actually your bench was actually the second highest scoring team this week, which was pretty slick. Also, kind of a bummer looking at some of the scores there. It is always disappointing to. Well, I guess you weren't the second, third highest score, but score over 152 points and still not win. It's always rough scoring so much, but playing the guy who scored the most. So shout out Alex Billy. Definitely an A for effort. Unfortunately, still an L for the loss. But scoring 152 points, it's a moral victory. You got to feel good that get a couple more wins, total points for, all that good stuff works out. So this should be a fun season, very different. Only 8 teams. We drafted very differently, but I enjoy doing these videos. I know you guys, at least a couple of you told me you enjoyed watching the videos. So we'll probably, I'm going to stick you with a couple more videos. Watch them if you choose. If you have any suggestions on some things that we might be able to add or do each week with the videos, anything you want to add, we went running into this season, kind of felt very last minute from my perspective. So right now we have 5 teams in the West Division and only 3 teams in the East. We could leave it like that, or to balance out, we could take somebody from the West Division and put them over in the East. That might be good. I don't know if I can change the playoff brackets just yet, or at this point, because we've drafted and we're already a week in. However, typically with 10 teams, 6 make it, which leave 4 out. This year, only 2 don't make it, right? So we could talk about skipping the bye week and dropping it down, and that way only 4 teams would make the playoffs and shorten that. Anyway, discuss amongst yourselves. We'll figure out what we might want to do, and maybe by about the 3rd or 4th week, I'll start remembering that it's actually football season. We'll see. I have no great predictions yet for this season, and I am not going to call anybody out for anything yet. But stay tuned. Enjoy week 2.